Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Montreal for the latest round in the Radical Sim Racing America's Championship in 2026. Just hours after the Formula 1 Grand Prix around here, we come to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for round number 4. A Canadian race which will take us almost to the halfway stage. We're not too far away from that already as another season, another year passing us by very quickly. Ryan Odo and Aidan Young have been the two big contenders this season. Last time out at Laguna Seca, they had a fantastic race between themselves, where Aidan Young came out on top for the second time so far this season. Let's see who comes out on top this time around. Sadly, Ryan Odo not here tonight. We'll see if anybody can challenge Aidan Young at the front of the field. Myself, Ian Deliri, taking you through commentary here tonight with Ramiro Agustin Cisneros behind the cameras of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. As I say, we're almost coming towards the halfway stage of our season now. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be in Adelaide, and after that, we've reached halfway. Sebring to come just 2 weeks after that for a bit of a summer break, really. You take your pick when the summer break is really. 4 weeks then to Road Atlanta, then another 6 until Mosport. I guess that's when the real summertime off is. Spaced out races continue as Barcelona and Charlotte Road will take place towards the autumn time, and then very shortly after that in November we have our World Finals qualifier event and the World Finals themselves, which Aidan Young is looking to defend his crown in, of course. Let's have a look at the prizes you get for this series as well, because there's a lot to win before the World Finals. First of all, for the Pro Class, the Drivers' Champion gets a 12-month iRacing subscription and free entry to next season, and the World Finals, along with the rest of the top 7 in the AM Class. It's a 6-month iRacing subscription along with free entry next season, and as I say, World Final entry for the top 7. Second place also gets free entry into next year's season 2027, while the rest of the top 7, as I say, go straight to the World Finals. The qualifiers event will take place for the next 7. That's places 8th to 14th. And the team's champions get a track per driver in iRacing and free entry to next season, and the vice team champions also get free entry next season. Let's see how everybody stands after just 3 rounds of this championship, and it is Aidan Young with those 2 wins out of 3 to Ryan Odo's 1 out of 3, who leads the way by just 7 points. Jared Dunkovic is best of the rest and only 2 points in front of Diego Zuccarelli, with Jose Gonzalez in 5th place, Romain Faux 6th, Jeremy Manella and Christian Emmanuel. In the teams, it is unsurprisingly WSR Esports, Team ERC, Odo and Young dominating the field by nearly 60 points already. 10 competition are best of the rest there, with Overtake 26th in 3rd and Passion Sim Esports in 4th. James Franznik leads a very tight AM standings at the moment, just 1 point in front of Jesse Lambert and 3 in front of Maxime Armand and John Benelid. Then a bit of a gap back to Jean-Francois Larocque, Joel Jacqueline, Cara Dudgeon, although Dudgeon only just 1 point above that top 7 cut line, with Tino Rene close in behind. Robert Neville and Cedric Ohayon are close in behind as well. Jour de Course are tied at the top with Radical Academy Canada, with Bad Wolf Racing top of the standings for those 2 teams. Lima Racing are then only 12 points back in 3rd. Scuderia Padovano and Unangst Motors round out the AM teams. There's a view from the air at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. 7 p.m. in the evening here on just a couple of days ago. On the 23rd of May, 22 degrees Celsius on the racetrack is 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too much to worry about at all for these radicals. As always in this series, 1 45-minute race to come here tonight. At the moment, qualifying is just underway. Aidan Young is the current fastest driver. He's leading by over 6/10 of a second, but the AM battle, as ever, is interesting. Jose Gonzalez moves up to 2nd. Cara Dudgeon is currently leading the way in the AMs ahead of James Frantic, then Cedric Ohayon, and then Maxime Armand, who we can see here running on board with. Now you can tell me, sports fans who are watching this, what team that cap is representing. I have a feeling it's an ice hockey team, but I don't know anything about ice hockey, so I'll leave that to somebody who knows about it. Making his way down towards the hairpin. Now the big overtaking chance on this lap, you would say. Having said that, circuit is not exactly short on overtaking chances. I mean, we did the Radical Esports Cup race, the broadcasted split race, as we always do on a Friday night just a couple of days ago, and it was pretty exciting. It was a good race between Aidan Young and James Barry, who was also up towards the front. Barry, a European competitor. See if we can get a similar race on today as Maxime Armand makes his way over the line. That moves him up into 6th place overall and 3rd in the AM class. But look at Cara Dudgeon, 2nd place in this qualifying session as an AM driver, ahead of Diego Zuccarelli and Jose Gonzalez. There is going to be a real fight for 2nd here in this race by the early looks of that. Here towards the end of the lap comes Jesse Lambert. No time on the board yet for Lambert, the final driver to do so, with just over a minute left in the qualifying. And I'm not sure that is going to count. Or indeed that he's going to have time to complete another lap here. So unfortunately, Lambert going to be starting from the very back end of the field here tonight. As far as other drivers out there are concerned, by the way, Aidan Young making his way towards the line at the moment. His 1:30.4 should be good enough for pole anyway, but he's looking to try and go one better than that with the lap time here. And no, he won't. He'll just come into the pit lane. Tino Rene coming towards the final chicane as well in the AM class, currently 11th place in this session, but 8th in the points. And I guess 8th in the class, therefore, as well. But only 1 point below that top 7 cut line, which is going to make the AMs so interesting this season. Rene, though, also comes into the pit lane, as does Jose Gonzalez, who was out there. So it might be Jesse Lambert, the final driver, to actually get an attempt in here. But time is elapsing now. The qualifying session is over. So he will not have time to get to the line, and neither will Jean-Francois Larocque, who was coming to the line there as well. He finishes inside the top 10. Well, let's have a look at the starting grid then, shall we? Ready for tonight's race. Aidan Young on the pole in front of Cara Dudgeon, the AM pole sitter. What a great lap time from her to get onto the front row. Diego Zuccarelli and Jose Gonzalez are then on row 2, with James Franzik over a second off pole down in 5th. Maxime Armand in 6th. John Benelid and Cedric Orion are teammates and lining up on row 4 together. Rylan Fuoco and Jean-Francois Larocque round out the top 10, with Tino Rene and Robert Neville on row 6. David Kaufman is next, ahead of Brian Nicola, with Jesse Lambert, the final of the drivers, to bring up the rear. Well, 15 drivers in the field then for round 4 in the 2026 Radical Sim Racing Americas Championship here from Montreal tonight. It's been a fascinating season as far as the AM class is concerned. It's still super close. In terms of the pros, it's really been about Aidan Young versus Ryan Odo, and unfortunately, with Odo not here tonight, Aidan Young has got a clear path to victory, as long as he doesn't make a mistake. And it's worth remembering, on Friday he did grab the wall on lap 2 very early on in the race, and that meant that he was really hampered through the rest of the day. We'll see whether that properly holds him back here in this race, or indeed whether he makes the same mistake this time round. It would be unusual to see him make the same mistake twice. Here we go. 45 minutes of racing from Montreal tonight for round number 4 of our championship. Underway in a pretty even start. Bit of a squirm in the mid-pack there, but a good start from Aidan Young, who gets off the line well and in towards turn number 1 first. Side by side for second place meantime as Dudgeon and Zuccarelli fight it out. Diego Zuccarelli gets ahead of the AM leader, Cara Dudgeon, and James Franzik challenging Jose Gonzalez as well to try and get up to Dudgeon and challenge for the AM lead, but it's going to single file out through the chicane. A nice clean start and a nice early lead for Aidan Young at the front of this field. Down in towards the middle sector, the hairpin at turn 6 now. Squeeze on the power coming out of here. down the straight towards the next chicane. Turns 8 and 9. Always the fascination with this racetrack. There's the chicanes, the relentless march of chicanes here. And look at that gap already for Aidan Young. 1.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. So Zuccarelli leading the best of the rest ahead of Dudgeon, then Gonzalez and Fransnick the top 5. Gonzalez close to Dudgeon in towards the final chicane. Will he go for it here? Well, Dudgeon making clear that he shouldn't feel invited. Should have pulls it over to the defensive shape there, but it also hampers his run onto the front straight. Down in towards turn 1 for Gonzalez. He's going to have a look to the inside and he's going to brake early. Wants to stay in line behind the AM leader for now. Looks like there's been some trouble down the back end of the field, I'm afraid. Jesse Lambert and Robert Neville have dropped to the back. Neville further delayed than Lambert was. Look at that side by side in the background there as well. Fuoco and Armand into turn 6. Fuoco around the outside, gets in the inside for 7. While staying firm. Cedric Oyon in behind them both as well. And then towards turn 8 now for these 3. Fuoco holds on to get through ahead of Armand. That might just give the chance to Oyon to have a go as well. Down towards the hairpin. Nothing doing, and that's too late on the brakes there from Fuoco. Far too late, a lock-up indeed into the hairpin. You can see the smoke still hanging around. Gives the opportunity perhaps for Maxime Armand to come back again on home soil here tonight, of course. Gets in the slipstream, pulls off to the left-hand side here. He's on the outside for the first part, but inside for the second. He brakes later. He's going to miss the corner, and there's contact. He missed the first part of the corner. He had to come back on at some point, and Ryland Fuoco, unfortunately, is the innocent bystander in that one. He's going to even drop behind David Kaufman here, who brings himself up to 12th place. First bit of drama through that final chicane, and it's Ryland Fuoco who drops to the back of the field as a result. It's a big shame for Fuoco. He drops behind, well, he dropped briefly behind Kaufman and Lambert. Now he's back past Kaufman, although David Kaufman has had trouble here. He drops down the field. A number of incidents here that have been ongoing. Look at this group further back for 7th place. Tino Rene leading the 4 of them. Oh dear, in the grass and getting back underway again, John Benelit, who dropped behind this group. Armand and Ohian were already side by side. They went 3 wide for a moment there to get past John Benelit, who's up to speed now, and Jean-Francois Larocque is coming through on the outside as well. Side by side to the chicane again, 3 wide. Benelit down the inside and makes his way through. That was a decisive move. And he makes his way up to 9th. Meantime, in the background, Lambert hits the wall of champions. First driver we've seen in that wall. It wasn't a race-ending thing by any means. It was just a bit of contact with that rear right tyre. And he made through the final corner there. It's that group for 6th place now indeed, with Benelit dropping down. Look at the late braking there. Rene Armand and Larocque all going too deep in towards turn 6. And so the group leader Rene not punished for that mistake. meantime, are the leaders again. Apart from Aidan Young, of course, who's in this race by a very long way indeed. Here comes Zuccarelli in behind Cara Dudgeon, trying to keep those two pros behind her to act as a buffer between herself and James Franznik. Now, pitting here is always an interesting one, and it's going to change the race here, I would imagine, tonight. Because normally, if you're stuck behind somebody, well, not always, but oftentimes, if you're stuck behind somebody, like what these two are at the moment, you might try and come into pit lane to get out of the traffic and get yourself into some clean air. Well, because of the way the pit lane's configured here, you actually have to slow down for the driver in front of you going into the final chicane before speeding up again a little bit and slowing back down again for the pit entry line. Which makes things very difficult around here to actually get an undercut going. So maybe that's going to prove to be an advantage to those who are heading groups. Cara Dudgeon and Tino Rene, two of those at the moment. James Franznik just had an issue through the final chicane on that last lap, so he drops quite a long way away in 5th place now, and the group at the top of your screen down to 3. At the bottom of your screen up to 5 in this 6th place battle. Follow the leader for both groups in the hairpin, but not down the straight. Here comes Zuccarelli to the outside, and that's just not going to work, I'm afraid. And here comes Jose Gonzalez, surely. A nice exit coming onto the front straight. He's alongside as these guys filter their... Oh, contact down here. Rene there was passed by Armand and then was hit by Benelid. Ohion and Larocque having to slow down as a result, and they're now wondering where to go, almost looking 3 wide here, and they were. They were never going to fit 3 wide in towards turn 1, but they tried to anyway, and it's resulted in contact. Tino Rene and John Benelid go around. Benelid for the 2nd time today, and that was always likely with a 3 wide moment. Well, here it all stayed the same. No positions changed despite the side-by-side between Zuccarelli and Gonzalez, but behind in that group behind, positions certainly do change because of that drama. Here it is again. I mean, just weren't going to fit, unfortunately. Tino Rene wasn't even aware, really, that there were 3 wide there. He turned in as if there were 2 wide. And it's cost him, I'm afraid. It's cost him quite a few positions. Here it is again. Just even alongside by the time they hit the brakes. Alongside at the apex, I suppose, but one of those things when you're 3 wide, I'm afraid. Ah, now Zuccarelli does get through. So he's been trying that outside move in towards the final chicane for some time. Now he's managed to make it work as Gonzalez follows through. Dudgeon delayed at that final turn and then so loses 2 positions, but only to pro drivers. I say only to pro drivers, but we score points on an overall system here, so it is a little bit costly in terms of points for Dudgeon to lose out on those 2 positions. John Benelid is in the pit lane meantime in response to that crash that he and those couple of others, Rene had, well, Rene was the other one who spun around on that previous lap. So he now comes to a stop. The stop already for Robert Neville, by the way, was 9 seconds, just over. Benelid's is going to be longer than that. Maybe he's repairing a bit of damage. No, just filling it all the way up to the brim, because he's done 4 more laps than Neville on that stint, so he had a bit more space in the car to fill it up to the top. He would have been behind Neville anyway, but nevertheless comes out in 15th place. Well, things might settle down just for a moment here, and that'll be a relief to some. That group behind that has been decimated by that big spin for Benelid and Rene. Turn 1 is now a 3-driver group for 9th place. Nicola Ohion and Lambert. And these three are spacing apart as well now, as Kara-Judgen has been dispatched. Diego Zuccarelli and Jose Gonzalez both finding their way through. Ohion gets past Lambert meantime. In fact, they're changing places because Ohion is into the pit lane. So these stops really are starting to become more frequent, and all of them will have made a pit stop, their first stop of the day, by the time the next 10 minutes have gone past. So expect to see all pit stops before the halfway stage in this race. That's 22.5 minutes remaining, don't forget. So next 10 minutes is what we're looking at. 10 minutes, about what, 6 or 7 laps around here? Probably 6 laps, let's say, the stops will be happening in. So you can go furthest. Brian Nicola just makes a mistake there, and towards 8 and 9 it looked like. Looked like he was coming back on again after some trouble. Jesse Lambert through into 9th. By the looks of it. Try and see if there's any incident to look at there, or whether it's just dust being kicked up. But here's Aidan Young, leading this race by nearly 11 seconds now. What a lead he's got. And meantime, Jean-Francois Larocque comes in. He's starting to take control of this season. I mentioned it's between him and Ryan Odo, but actually the momentum really is with him. First of all, he's got the championship lead because he's won 2 out of the 3. Odo won the other one. But he's got 5 bonus points compared to Odo's just 1, and that's giving him an advantage in the championship. Of course, the World Finals are one thing, and Aidan Young is the reigning World Finals champion, but the actual season within itself is where prizes can be won as well. And Aidan Young looking to do that this season. Last season in the America's Pro Championship, he took the victory by 55 points over Ryan Odo. Different point system back then. Just around 30 for a win. Depends how many bonus points you get, but 30 odd for a win now, as opposed to 100 odd, depending on how many bonus points you got last season. In comes Aidan Young then, from the lead of this race. Surprises me that he can't go any further, or indeed just decided not to go any further. Because surely the call would be to stay out for as long as you possibly can if you are the leader out in clean air, but clearly not. Aidan Young comes into a stop, as does Kara-Judgen, James Franznik, Maxime Armand. And just before they can even come to a stop, Aidan Young's on his way. 11.1 seconds, so he's not brimmed that tank. However, he's in clean air at the front of this race. Judgen out next, about 2.5 seconds in front of Franznik, whose stop was longer. He has got closer in the last few laps. In fact, his stop was longer, but his lane time was shorter. Judgen must have made a mistake on the way into pit lane here. Long stops from the likes of Armand and Larocque, and a black flag for Jesse Lambert, by the way. Not sure entirely what that is for. Meantime, Zuccarelli and Gonzalez continue on. They're the only 2 yet to stop. It seems to be a pretty fuel-heavy day, because they're struggling to go much further than 15 minutes into this race with the starting fuel they've been given. Of course, they can fill up a little bit higher into the tank than what they begin with in this series. So this middle stint might be a particularly long one for some of these guys. We'll wait and see. Robert Neville will be the first one, though, to make his final pit stop of the day. And that will be in at least 10 minutes' time. We'll have to wait a little bit of time for that. Zuccarelli and Gonzalez come to a stop then. This is the battle for second in the pro class, and second overall, you might imagine as well, with Kara-Judgen challenging them. How close is it going to be? Gonzalez 10.2, jumps Zuccarelli 12.2. So Jose Gonzalez in front of Diego Zuccarelli with that 2 seconds shorter pit stop there. And again, that's the intrigue with these races, the intrigue with these strategies. You can get some track position with a nice shorter pit stop as Gonzalez has there. Fuoco and Ohion side by side, meantime, for 10th. 10th overall, that is. John Bentley catching up no end as a result of this. Look at the jumping around they're doing there. I think they're still side by side. Now Fuoco's going to have to back out. Or maybe not. Just watching the gap on the tower. And he's coming again to have another attempt at Cedric Ohion. Still changing places, and again and again and again. We'll try and see it in a moment. Here is that fight. Oh dear, right up over the curves and too deep into turn 8 from Cedric Ohion. Rylan Fuoco says, thanks very much, I'll take that place back again. Jump, oh, and he just defends hard as well. That was an exceptional move. Great commitment, high risk, but he defends the inside line successfully in towards the hairpin. But Ohion is only going to be able to hit back again on the next straight. What a great fight between these two. It's costing them a heap of time. You can question the merits of this battle, but what a great battle it is to watch. Bentley tries to follow through. Thankfully backed out of that because it would have been contact. Here comes Fuoco again though, in the slipstream of Cedric Ohion. He looks to the inside, close in towards turn 1. But Ohion round the outside, able to stay in front nicely. Fuoco cut back. Can't get himself back ahead again. What a great fight that was. Pretty much an entire lap there. Cedric Ohion eventually working his way past Fuoco into 10th position. Won't be over yet. I mean, John Bentley is probably quicker than these two, to be honest. So surely he will be next to make a move out of these three. I would have thought anyway. Out on the brakes into the hairpin. And that's a good exit from Cedric Ohion this time. I think Fuoco's going to struggle to get ahead here this time. Although the slipstream's working and he's getting closer and closer. Bentley's closer to Fuoco actually. Oh, and there's all sorts of defending there. That's a strange line from Ohion, and he breaks a bit early too. He just invites the pressure there from Rylan Fuoco. Oh, who looks one side then the other. The inside blocked. He's forced to the outside here and he can't go all the way around. Forced to stick with 11th. With Bentley still hanging back, wondering how he's going to get past these two in 12th. Meantime, here's the two in the Pro class. There's Diego Zuccarelli having a look down the inside there. Now over 16 seconds behind the race leader, Aidan Young. Just 2 minutes short of the halfway mark. This is going to be a big, big winning margin by the looks of things for Aidan Young. You'd imagine about 40 seconds, probably. So they stay as they are. Will John Bentley maybe finally make a move here on Rylan Fuoco for 11th? He's getting closer. And the three of them are fighting again for 10th position. out of the final chicane. Here they are again. Bentley just cannot find a way past because these two can't stop going side by side between themselves. Round the outside through turn 1, inside at turn 2 for Rylan Fuoco. Gets past Cedric Ohion in the early part of this lap. That's a fantastic move. Little bump over the curbs for Ohion, and maybe now Bentley's got his chance. Turn 6. Yep, there we go. Ohion forced into an error. He goes wide. And John Bentley finally works his way past. That has been a long time coming. So Ohion's going to struggle to stay with these two now as Fuoco tries to get away. And Bentley, I imagine, definitely will do. He's going to get into the slipstream and see if he's close enough this time. I don't think he is, but stranger things have happened. These two still single file where they were before. I have a feeling these two are waiting for the next pit stop phase, really, for them to fight properly. Oh, and Jesse Lambert has disappeared here. Looks like Jesse oh, he's been disqualified. Well, that is unusual. As far as I can see on my timing screen, Jesse Lambert has been disqualified. According to the tower on the left, he's out, but he also looks like he's still driving. Oof. Corelli nearly hit Gonzalez there. Now Lambert's starting to fall through the field. There we go. So what would Lambert have got disqualified for there? That is very unusual. See too many disqualifications like that. But sadly, that's how we get our first retirement of the night. It's taken us more than half the race to get it. Here comes John Bentley then. He's been waiting for this move for a while. Well, Fuoco and Ohion were fighting, and what a fight it was. Bentley was stuck behind them, couldn't do anything. Now he's on the outside, now he's steaming through into 9th position. Later on the brakes on the outside, and through he goes. And they'll actually get a place from Robert Neville here as well as he comes into pit lane for the first of our final stops tonight. Here comes Fuoco, trying to come back at Bentley. Around the outside from John Bentley. Means he stays in 8th position. Surely now we'll be able to run away with this 8th position as well. See if Fuoco can stay with him. David Kaufman also into pit lane as Neville stopped, 12.8 seconds. Hopefully is enough to see him to the end of the race, but be a little bit tight. More than 20 minutes to go, and we didn't see anybody go much further than 15 minutes in the first stint of the race. But I guess as long as he brims the tank, he should be fine. Brakes, and Bentley is not clear in the way that he would have wanted to be here. Rylan Fuoco is still absolutely right there. Into the slipstream. He's going to get to the outside. Or is he? Well, he was waiting for a while there, but now he's going to go for it. In towards the chicane. Oh, he had to back out of that late, and Cedric Ohion, if he's timed this well, will be able to get straight through here. Maybe on both of them. Bentley makes sure of that doesn't happen. He's going to block Ohion in, box him in. But Fuoco breaks late on the outside. He'll get the inside for turn 2. And therefore 3 as well if he can stay there. But Bentley has got a good exit here. And he'll have the inside at 4 if he stays there, but no! Rylan Fuoco breaks late on the inside line and he's back into 8th place. It's the battle that never sleeps at the moment. These three have not stopped going at it since the first pit stops were complete. Nearly 10 laps ago now. Benlid joined last, of course, and Fuoco only came out the pit lane 7 laps ago, but since then, it's been an absolutely fantastic fight between these three. Oh, in the wall in the background, Ohion would have been fancying his chances there as the third of the three, but just grazed the wall there, coming out of turn number 9. So surely this is going to be all Benlid on the way towards the chicane. Here they come on the back straight, not close enough, Benlid this time. And again, like I mentioned earlier, into the pit lane. Was that contact there? Cedric Ohion coming into pit lane. Did he grab Benlid or was that just a slide for John Benlid? I think it might have been the latter, but Cedric Ohion into pit lane. Next in, by the way, will be John Benlid, and we probably won't have to wait too much longer to see that pit stop. Ohion comes to a stop. Don't expect these guys to take tyres. Not in any conditions, certainly not in the cool temperatures we have today. 8 seconds, wow. That is a short stop, and that's going to allow him to jump Neville, who was ahead of him before these stops, don't forget. He's going to jump ahead of him here. Now, Benlid and Fuoco will have the same or even less time in the pit lane than Ohion just did, so they'll all be ahead of Robert Neville. But important for Fuoco and Benlid now to not fight, because they are in a time trial against Cedric Ohion now. Here comes Jose Gonzalez into pit lane. He pits, I think, as he's run out of fuel here. Although maybe not. We'll certainly have that answer. If Aidan Young comes in next time round, I'd expect that... well, actually, no, probably not. He's been less than 15 minutes out there, hasn't he? So this is probably a tactical choice from Jose Gonzalez. We'll have a little bit longer than 8 second stop that Ohion did, because Gonzalez's first stop was about 10 seconds. This one about 11. So expect a shorter stop from Zuccarelli when he comes in. Oh, that's close. Gonzalez comes out just in front of Jean-Francois Larocque. Gonzalez will be very pleased about that. Plenty of Canadians in our field tonight, and indeed in the field of the America's Championship more generally. Enjoying a home race tonight. But it's an American, Aidan Young, who is leading the way and dominating the field here at the Canadian Grand Prix circuit, of course. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Has been for 5 years in a row now, but has been most years since 1978, apart from 87, 2002, 2020 and 2021. Of course, just hosted a whole load of different series, even including the World Sports Car Championship back in the Group C days, just once. Also the what's now called the NASCAR O'Reilly Series, the nationwide series as it was at the time, for 6 editions in the late 2000s, early 10s. A versatile racetrack, that's for sure. Cara Dudgeon into pit lane and on the way out again. 7th place for her. Clear track as well behind Larocque. There is Dudgeon. In the background, Fuoco and Benlid. So she's clear of those two as well. It's looking like a strong performance from Cara Dudgeon today. Not so much at Laguna Seca last time out, but the week before, the round before at VIR, finished 2nd to Dudgeon. Looking to go one better here with a victory tonight. Here comes Aidan Young. 14 minutes to go, and this race leader has effectively split this 45-minute race into thirds. Another stop of about 10 seconds expected, maybe a little bit shorter than 10 actually. Given his slightly longer first stop. Nope, we'll just be over 10. And very briefly, Aidan Young is going to lose this race lead, or is he? Oh, not even. Diego Zuccarelli still can't get past him, even with an extra pit stop from Aidan Young. That is how far he is ahead of the rest of the field. That car next in line, by the way, is David Kaufman, who's a lap down. He's made 2 pit stops, which is partly why he's a lap down, but so is Aidan Young in his defence. Zuccarelli, second place at the moment. Lap 11 of his stint about to be completed here with just less than 13 minutes to go. I'm imagining his pit stop will be soon, as will James Franznick. He'll be probably in next, as well as John Benelid from that fantastic battle we've seen with him and Fuoco and Ohion. So we'll get some answers there soon. But Zuccarelli carries on. So these guys still got the fuel, and those who stopped a bit longer, by the way, like Larocque and Maxime Armand and Fuoco, Ryan Fuoco, they will be able to really go quite a long way here. James Franznick, though, can't go much further. And he comes into pit lane as well. Armand going to take the AM race lead just for a brief moment. Franznick comes to a stop. Again, probably about 10 seconds expected here, maybe a bit less. And Fuoco certainly less than 10 seconds as he comes in. Not at the limits of his fuel, I don't think. 9.3 seconds from Franznick. So Dudgeon gets through fairly comfortably, and that's the main thing for, well, there she is, down the bottom of your screen. Fairly comfortably, I say, just over a second there. That's the battle for what will become the AM lead. John Benelid just in behind. James Franznick still has to stop before this race is over. 6.7 seconds from Rylan Fuoco, so he's definitely going to be in front of Cedric Oyon. In fact, it's not even going to be a battle anymore. And there's Benelid, who's getting slowed down by Franznick going on the defensive. You can see it from Franznick's point of view there. He doesn't want somebody who's about to pit anyway getting in front of him and slowing him down. But Benelid is in a fight here as well and doesn't want to be slowed down. He's just going to give Franznick the push there. Way towards the turn 8 chicane. Zuccarelli now into the pit lane as well. So the battle with him and Jose Gonzalez is going to be resolved now, or indeed it's going to be set up for a run to the end between the two of them. Be one or the other. Jean-Francois Larocque is in as well. Here comes John Benelid. So Maxime Armand is the only one we're waiting for now. Zuccarelli comes out a long way in front of Gonzalez. So that's settled for second. Franznick now 3.5 seconds behind Dudgeon after that outlap, which wasn't so good. And so that AM leading battle probably settled now as well. Larocque on his way back out again after 8 seconds. Benelid will probably be in there for similar, if not a little bit longer. 8.5. Now, Fuoco is going to get through with that. In fact, he's going to be in the middle of Fuoco and Ohion. But sadly, the three of those not returning to the fight that we saw earlier on that was so fantastic to watch. So final 10 minutes. Aidan Young on the run to the flag here. Probably, indeed definitely. Well, no, probably. 7 laps to go between now and the finish, unless he's slowing down. He would have to slow down quite dramatically, and it might be a bit of a risk, in all honesty, for him to slow down and cut off, or do one less lap. So we are going to get the 30 laps predicted by the predictor at the start of the day. And Armand is now going to make his final pit stop as well. So with 9 minutes, the field is going to be cleansed here, and we're able to see where everybody is. This, though, is going to be a very short stop. Only needs 7 laps of fuel, and he has the advantage, of course, of knowing exactly how many laps this is going to be, if he's got someone there to do the maths for him. Maybe he can work it out himself if he's especially sharp on the maths. 7 seconds, and he's third at the moment, and he will stay there. Jean-Francois Larocque a long way back. Oh, a little bit wide through turn 2, but he'll get away with it. And he will get on with the final 7 laps. So the field cleansed. The field is perhaps going to stay like this to the finish, we'll see, but the closest battle at the moment is Fuoco versus Larocque, and that's 1.5 seconds between those two. So as far as the championship is concerned, Aidan Young's going to pull ahead, of course, in the pros. Zuccarelli and Gonzalez have only been at, or rather are at 4th and 5th between the two of them. Gonzalez wasn't at the previous round at Laguna Seca. But they'll both move ahead of Jarek Junkovic. Well, maybe not in Gonzalez's case, actually. We'll find out, but probably. That will move them to 3rd and 4th. That gets them a place at the World Finals, of course, but any extra prizes if you get up to 2nd place, which is going to be a challenge, obviously, to catch Ryan Odo this season. As far as the AMS, though, it's much more interesting. James Franczyk is going to hold on to his championship lead, though, because Kara Dudgeon started the day 21 points behind him. His closest rival, Jesse Lambert, who got disqualified today. Let's have a look at Robert Neville. His driver cam for tonight, 11th place for Neville. Yeah, Franczyk will hold on to the championship lead because Lambert, who is his closest rival, disqualified today. So he drops down. Maxime Armand and John Benelid, who are tied for 3rd at the moment, are going to get ahead of him. Armand will, though, be 2nd on his own, ahead of Benelid, I think. There's a bit of a gap back, really. Dudgeon's going to move up to 5th to be a little bit more secure in that top 7. Then it will be Larocque, I think, in 6th, and there he is. Great to have so many driver cams tonight in the Americas Championship. Don't always get to see so many. But Larocque will be down to 6th, as I say. And then it's going to be a real fight to see who's 7th, because Joel Jacklin isn't here today, and therefore will drop away. I think it will still be Tino Rene, but it will be close between Robert Neville and Cedric Ohion, who are also going to close in there, because they're ahead of Rene. But I think Tino Rene is going to get there. It's going to remain really close, though. And again, the reason why I'm mentioning that, the top 7 qualify straight into the World Finals in the Radical Sim Racing Championship. The next 7 have to go through a qualifier. That's taking place the week or so before the World Finals themselves, where we trialled this format of 45-minute races rather than hour-long races like we had in 2025 for the first time, and it was a roaring success, I've got to say. So far, the races here in this championship have been as well. Fuoco's caught up to Larocque then. He's had to do it the hard way here, but he's given himself plenty of time to actually make a pass. 4 laps to go when they get to the line, as Aidan Young crosses the line now, signalling 4 laps to go for him. Indeed, therefore, the rest of the field as well. A little bit of a defensive shape from Larocque. He's certainly keeping his eye on what's going on behind him at the moment. You don't want to defend too early like that, really. Just slows you down, really, and doesn't actually provide any benefit when trying to hold on to your place. Into the final chicane, no mistakes through there for either of the two, but actually a better run from Larocque. Holds the lead towards turn one. Oh, misses the apex slightly there for Fuoco. Looks quicker, but a little bit more flamboyant and a little bit all over the place at the moment. And that's a defence from Larocque, and Fuoco very nearly went into the back of him. I seem to remember a similar situation when Fuoco went on a half defensive shape when John Benlid or Sedegoyen was right behind him. Can't remember which, but that was nearly a role reversal there. 3.5 laps to go for these two. Just less than 3 laps now for Aidan Young, who's already crossed the line again. Black flag for Tino Rene in 12th place. Not a great day for him, but he will move into the top 7 in the America's AM Championship. He won't drop behind Brian Nicola because of that black flag. Larocque defending into the hairpin, and this time it was necessary. Fuoco needing a good exit, and he's got it. Well, didn't need a great exit, just needed a solid one. And he would get the slipstream of Larocque and close up and maybe even pat him. In the slipstream, and down the inside he comes. In towards the final chicane. Gets it done very nicely indeed. Moves up to 7th overall and 4th place in the AM class. Rylan Fuoco only 14th in the standings so far, having only been at 1 round. Going to be difficult for him to move up very far. As I said earlier, Jean-Francois Larocque is going to actually move down a place today, but also slightly counterintuitively down a place, but further away from the cut line for the top 7. So work that one out. He'll drop to 6th at the expense of Cara Dudgeon, with as long as he goes on to win here, of course. She's only got 2 more laps to hold on for. Oh dear, somebody's been through the gravel and the grass there. Wonder whether that's the straw that broke the camel's back as far as Tino Rene's black flag was concerned. I'm presuming it was for incident points, but maybe that's not correct. Well, just the 1 minute to go. It's been a fascinating race, I've got to say, in the Radical Sim Racing America's Championship. Plenty going on. But I think we have enjoyed our last battle when Fuoco got past Larocque. Oh, David Kaufman's got a meatball flag now. Aidan Young is about to receive the white flag. We unfortunately got our first meatball of the race. The only retirement for Jesse Lambert, who had a disqualification next to his name at one stage, but that seems to have disappeared. No, he hasn't reappeared in this race. White flag's out for Aidan Young. 1 more lap around here at Montreal as the sun comes down. Past 8 o'clock now in Sim, so the shadows are very long, and actually it's very dark in a few places. And he hasn't had to make many passes tonight, only to put a few people a lap down, and there's the final of them. Robert Neville being put a lap down there by a winner in waiting, perhaps our champion in waiting. Perhaps too early for us to know that. This is a long season, don't forget. The final race at the Charlotte Roval is in October, 5 months from now, with the World Finals half a year away. However, he's on a run at the moment, is Aidan Young. 3 in a row, if he can hold on to this. He never achieved that during his championship winning season last year. 2 in a row was all he could manage on a couple of occasions, including the last 2 races of the season. But this is early on in the campaign. This is 3 in a row. This is absolutely dominant from Aidan Young in that number 1 car. He comes up towards the final chicane for the final time. He's kept it out the walls this time, unlike on Friday night, and in any case, it's been a comfortable ride for him anyway. Aidan Young with one of the more dominant performances in the Radical Sim Racing Americas Championship you're ever likely to see. Crosses the line at Montreal, and he wins by well over half a minute at the end. The AM battle not over yet. Cara Tudgen's going to win the race, but who's going to finish second? James Franzik is holding on for now, but Maxime Armand had really caught up towards the end here. Down the back straight, this final battle to settle. Armand in the slipstream. Can he get past Franzik perhaps in towards the final chicane? A look down the inside, but not quite. Meanwhile, Cara Tudgen crosses the line. It's her first victory in 2026 in the AM class. A brilliant victory as well. 4th place overall, and was actually running 2nd overall for some time before comfortably taking home the victory. Behind James Franzik, holds on to his championship lead, and he makes his championship lead a little bit larger with that victory here tonight as well. Or with that 2nd place tonight, I should say, as well. It's the current championship leader. Fuoco finishes ahead of Larocque. Benelid can't quite get to Jean-Francois Larocque, and so he ends up outside the top 5. These two running rather close at the end here. This is Cedric Ohion and Tino Rene, I think. Oh no, it's not, sorry, it's the number 1 of Aidan Young. Not sure Cedric Ohion's actually finished yet. He had to pit on that last lap there for whatever reason. Not sure why actually, but anyway, it's going to be a 10th place finish overall for Cedric Ohion tonight. Here are the race results then. After 30 laps of racing, Aidan Young taking the victory by 35 seconds in front of Diego Zuccarelli and Jose Gonzalez, the pro drivers tonight. Cara Tudgen finishes 4th and wins in the AM class ahead of James Franzik. Maxime Armand 6th place ahead of Rylan Fuoco and Jean-Francois Larocque running out the top 5. John Benelid and Cedric Ohion round out the top 10. 11th went to Robert Neville, who was lapped at the very end there. Tino Rene will be I think in the top 7 in the AM Championship after that performance there. Brian Nicola, David Kaufman also got to the end. Jesse Lambert, unfortunately, retired halfway through. Let's have a chat, shall we, to Aidan Young, who wins tonight from Montreal. And Aidan, how was that tonight? It looked very lonely out there for you. How did you stay motivated and concentrated throughout that race?
I just tried to hot lap against myself, to be honest. I mean, I'll take the points because it's good points to the championship. It's good points to the rest of the season, and I can continue to build the momentum. I think I got a 0x, so that's extra bonus points as well. So come drops, the bonus points will be nice. Yeah, for most of that race, it was just like driving a time attack, you know, just going against the clock and try and learn the car a bit more and just use it as seat time and practice going to the next event, basically.
Well, speaking about the future events, I mean, what can you actually take from a round like this? Because as you're hinting at, the real battle this season is with Ryan Odo, and yes, you've beaten him the last 2 occasions in a straight fight between the 2 of you, but you know, this one is on your own, as it were, with him not around. Do you actually take confidence from a win like this, even though he's not here, going into battles with him in the future rounds, or is this one to, as you say, just nice to strike off and get the bonus points and just take the points as they've come here tonight?
No, I think every win's a confidence boost, no matter what. Because I mean, you know, a win's a win, and that's what every racing driver's goal is to get a win. I mean, whether it's against Ryan or, you know, against myself, it's like I'm usually really hard on myself on how I drive, so. This whole race I was basically just racing my own confidence, racing my own self. But then when I race Ryan, it's, you know, I'm racing somebody else that's just as good as me, just as fast as me, and that pushes me to be even better as well. So, in its own sense, it's still a win that I can take things away from and take positives away from and learn little bits of info to take through to the rest of the season.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time at Adelaide. But for now, thanks for chatting to us, Aidan, and congrats on the win tonight.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.
Thanks very much. Aidan Young, the winner tonight at Montreal. Let's chat to the other class winner, shall we, first of all, before Diego Zuccarelli, who's also going to join us from second place overall tonight. But Cara Judgeon wins in the AM class tonight for the first time in 2026. Congratulations, Cara, on the victory. Early on, though, you were actually fighting for an overall podium, which is unusual for an AM driver. How was that experience, first of all, early on, and how does it feel to take your first win of the season?
It's so awesome. I had such a fun battle with Diego, and I really enjoyed being up at the front and getting to fight with them. I did mess up my pit stop a little bit, so I wasn't able to battle with them in the end, but overall I'm super happy to win this race since my last race didn't go so well, so it's a lot of points for the team and a lot of points for me in the championship, which is really good.
Yeah, based on my maths, should move you up to 5th place in the championship now, and within 20 of the lead with still 6 rounds to go. How would you sort of look at the next 6 rounds in this championship? Is this sort of first place a real goal for you in this AM championship? Are you taking every round as it comes?
I'm just going to take every round as it comes. I have a lot of favorite tracks coming up, like Mossport, which is actually my home track, so I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm just going to take every race as it comes and do my best and try not to get in any incidents, because I think it's about being the most consistent, not always being the fastest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations on winning in the AM class tonight, and thanks for chatting to us at the end of the race as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Looking forward to the next one.
And thanks very much, Cara Judgeon, first place in AM tonight. 2 weeks away from the next round, 4th place overall. Too much information in my head, too many numbers in my head, all coming out at once. Diego Zuccarelli was second. He joins us now as well. Diego, welcome in, and congratulations on a second place run tonight, beating out Jose Gonzalez and actually Cara Judgeon, who was there for a little while as well. But how was that race for you tonight, and that battle with Jose, which was settled in the final pit stops, I would say? How does it feel to come home second tonight?
Yeah, thank you everyone. Great to be here. Finally, I like to define this as the first of the humans, and yeah, it was a great race. First week, Cara and Jose, then Cara, we were just chatting a little bit. She had a little bit of an accident in the pits, caused a few seconds of delay. But with Jose, I really didn't know how much fuel he put in. I kind of end up splitting 50-50 for the 2 stops, so not probably at this point I know that I had more fuel than him, but during the race I didn't know, and yeah, trying to save some fuel when I was behind, try to push a little bit, trying to pull away when I was in front, but definitely one of the most intense races of the season so far.
Absolutely, I can imagine. And you mentioned that about Aidan just being sort of a head and shoulders above the rest of the field. But how does it make you feel coming into a race like this when you know that Aidan is so quick? He proves it in qualifying, and then early in the race as well, just gets away. How do you approach the race, knowing that the race win and the race lead is being taken by Aidan so much in these races? I mean, is it any different to an normal race, or are you really treating it as sort of a battle for the win between yourself and Jose and the others behind Aidan?
Yeah, I guess at this point, knowing quite well everyone else in the grid, you kind of eye the competitors that you can actually use to push yourself. Aidan right now is way too far to even think of competing with him. It would just make any sense too big of a jump. But yeah, when the field is full, but even tonight, between Cara and Jose, those are the people that you kind of try to target on your race. And yeah, other than looking for improvement yourself, you kind of have always a benchmark when it comes to them.
Well, congratulations on a second place finish overall tonight, Diego, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks very much. That is Diego Zuccarelli, who finishes second place tonight at Montreal. Well, that's just about it from us tonight as the darkness descends over the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve. We leave here with Aidan Young having taken another race victory, and Cara Judgeon, a first-time winner in the AM class and an ever closer AM Championship, standing in the Americas Championship as well. We'll be live, same time, same place, on June 7th with the next of our broadcasts. Just after 8 Eastern, we'll be live from Adelaide in 2 weeks' time to bring us to the halfway stage in the Americas Championship, June 7th. Very much looking forward to your company then here on RaceSpot TV. For now, I've been Nuno Leary with Romero Augustin Cisneros behind the cameras of this RaceSpot TV broadcast tonight. Until we see you in a fortnight at Adelaide, it's goodbye for now.